After the Blue Jays split the series against the Atlanta Braves, they welcome in the Houston Astros after the off day there yesterday to Rogers Center, and not a great game. Blue Jays end up losing 7-4 to the Houston Astros, and a couple of solo shots late from Reese McGuire and former Houston Astro Derek Fisher makes it a 7-4 ball game, but that's all she wrote. And what we have learned from Trent Thornton, and it was once again a theme in the ball game today from him, was that when he gets in trouble, he has a tough time getting out of it. You know, you look through the first, the first 4 innings, I thought he was great. Trent Thornton looked great, he was throwing strikes, he was getting swing and miss, everything was looking spiffy. But then he ran into a problem in the 5th inning, you know, and he gave up an RBI single to Josh Reddick. He gave up, and then he gave up a 3-run shot to George Springer. You know what I mean? And you could arguably say the 3-run shot to Springer, yeah, it's the 3rd time through the lineup and all that mumbo jumbo. But in the end, you know, I think he gave up a leadoff single, wasn't it, in that 5th inning? It was an error on Vladdy. You know what I mean? It was one that got in the lights, and he just dropped it. And that's something you want back. You want him to catch that ball and have a 1 out and nobody on. And then he gets Diaz to strike out. We're like, all right, well, runner at first, 1 out, no problem there. And Chirinos doubles to right field. Then Reddick singles. Then Springer hits a 3-run shot. And just like that, it's a 4-0 game. Or sorry, it was a 4-1 game. They had 1. The Jays were leading 1-0. But he just caved in. You know, and he gave up 3 straight hits, including a 3-run shot. You just can't let that happen against a team like Houston. But they also think you can't let happen against the Houston Astros, no matter what team you are, is when you get opportunities to score runs. Things are falling all over the place. It scared the crap out of me, people. That really got me there. You can't squander opportunities when you have chances to score runs. And I think it was in the 2nd inning when the Blue Jays scored their first run, bottom of the 2nd, you know, they didn't get a hit. Wade Miley could not find the strike zone. The Jays were laying off the tough pitches, and that's great. You end up having the bases loaded, and Reese McGuire takes a swing, and it hits Robinson Chirinos' glove as he's reaching out to catch it. Catcher interference. Hernandez comes in, and the Jays got a 1-0 lead. But again, they don't have a hit, and you still have the bases loaded with 1 out. And there's back-to-back strikeouts from Bichette and Biggio to end the inning. We have said it over and over. You get your opportunities, and if you don't break them wide open, a lot of the times you're going to lose. Look at the New York Mets as of late. Yes, they won today, but other than that, they have been horrendous with runners in scoring position over the last 6 or 7 games. They lost 5 or 6 in a row. When you don't hit with runners in scoring position, you're going to lose a lot of games, especially when you're a team like the Blue Jays who aren't very good as of yet. And you're playing a really good team in the Houston Astros. You get their guy on the ropes, you got to capitalize. And they didn't. You know, there was also an opportunity late in the ball game, right? I don't know when it was. I think it was I want to say it was like the bottom of the 6th inning where they had a couple guys on base. You know, I think with like Hernandez up at the plate, and you're like, hey, home run power gets into one here. It's a 1-run ball game, but you can't get that clutch hit, and it just wasn't happening. You know, and they kept adding on runs. They had that 4-1 lead, then a sacrifice fly from a Blue Jay led Miss Diaz in the 6th inning, then an RBI double from George Springer, and it just adds up and up and up and up, and just like that. You know, it's a 7-1 lead, a deficit for the Blue Jays, and everything's just going wrong. Actually, they scored, was it 4 runs in the 5th inning? Yeah, it was 4 runs in that 5th inning. And sorry, wait, was it a 3-run shot, wasn't it? I don't know. I guess it was a 2-run. Anyways. Nonetheless, then they got an infield single from Bregman in the 8th inning, adding on to their lead. But there are some positives to take from games. And I gotta say, as much as this is tough to take positives out of this, Reese McGuire is slowly starting to grow on me a little bit more. Not only because he's not bad behind the dish. I mean, down in AAA, he was only hitting .250. He wasn't a guy that really has shown a lot of offensive prowess. But he went 3 for 3 today, had 2 RBIs, had the home run. I mean, he's got 4 home runs on the year. He's hitting 300. Now, I mean, he's hitting 300 in 15 games. But that's awesome to see for Reese McGuire. And he's got some power. He's taken a walk now. Did he walk today too? No, he didn't. But he, excuse me, he didn't get out. And the thing I like that I'm seeing from him, he's hitting to all fields. He pulled the home run. One of his little bloopers that he had was over the shortstop, so that fell in there. It's the opposite field. And I like what we're seeing from Reese McGuire. I still love myself some Danny Jansen, but I want to see him start to hit better. If Danny Jansen can get to be a 250, 260 hitter, my God, he's going to be a godsend. But we haven't seen that yet from him. We saw a little bit last year, but this year has just not really been the same type of Danny Jansen that we were hoping this year. But again, next year is definitely a bounce back year for Danny Jansen. You kind of see it coming a mile away. Other positives out of the ball game. I mean, Bo Bichette was 1 for 5. Biggio was 1 for 3 with a run scored RBI, and he walked twice. So it's good to see for Kevin Biggio. But again, I think for him, I think he's starting to get over selective. You know what I mean? I'm seeing him take a lot of pitches like you're down the middle because he's trying to look for a certain pitch in a certain spot, and he's not finding it. I don't know. I could be wrong, guys, but again, I like what he did today. 1 for 3, walked twice. The guy has 54 walks in 77 games. That's kind of stupid. And I like what we're seeing from the patient standpoint of Biggio, but I want to see a lot more balls in play and hit hard from his standpoint. But he's hitting 210 with an on-base percentage of 340. Again, for a guy who's never played in the big leagues before and played probably, 60 games at AAA, I'll take it. I'll take it from Kevin Biggio. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. went 0 for 3 in the ballgame. He walked and got ejected. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. was hanging around Gibby way too much because he got tossed for the first time in his career. I mean, if you guys were watching on TV and you saw where the box was and you see where the ball went, it kind of looked like a strike on the corner. Vladdy didn't think so. On the next pitch, it's way down and away, and he swings at it and is like, he points at the umpire like, that's your fault, bud. And then the umpire takes his helmet off and starts yapping Vladdy back because, you know what, that's what they love to do. And then Vladdy turns around one more time as he's walking away, and I don't know what he said, but whatever it was, ticked the umpire off that much more, and he just gave him the old, how you doing, and sent him to the showers. Don't umpires have such a quick trigger finger nowadays? I mean, come on. Like, the guy, all he did was point at you and basically say that was an awful call. Are you getting that butthurt about it? I'm not saying the Jays would have won this game if Vladdy was playing, because they weren't really looking good anyways, but really? I don't know. We're seeing a lot of that nowadays. Umpires get really weird when it comes to firing guys out. We saw it last year. I think it was, I don't know who it was got tossed. I think the pitcher was tossed. Russell Martin turned around. Before even saying anything, he got tossed too. So I don't know if it's umpires just like getting fired up and tossing a guy out of the game, especially if it's Vladdy, one of the young kids. I don't know. But just added energy to the ball game, so that was just that. Hernandez went 1 for 4 with a run scored and a walk in the game. Smokey 1 for 3. Fisher 1 for 3 with the home run, and he also walked once as well. So it's good to see for Derek Fisher getting in and doing a good job. Excuse me, I'm trying not to sneeze here. We're good. And Trent Thornton picks up the loss. He's his 9th loss in the year. He's 4-9 on the season. Went 5 innings, 6 hits, 4 runs, 3 were earned, struck out 6. So yeah, as much as again. He went 4 shutout innings, guys. He was going 4 innings of 2-hit ball, and he was doing great. He just caved in the 5th. Now, again, this could be just kind of a young pitcher going through the reins, and maybe next year he won't be like this anymore. I don't know. And that's what happens when it comes to a young season, guys. You're going to go through the ups, you're going to go through the downs, and that's what we're seeing right now from Trent Thornton is kind of the down part of it. All right, Jason Adams came in, and he wasn't much better. When an inning gave up 3 hits, 2 runs, both were earned, and walked a batter. That really good start to his Blue Jay career feels so distant now, as his ERA is now 4.76. So there goes that. Neil Ramirez came out, gave up 1 hit, walked 2, and struck out a batter. Had the bases loaded in his inning, but ended up with a clean inning, so it's good to see for him. Tim Mesa came out, gave up 2 hits, walked a batter, and gave up a run. That was the infield single to Alex Bregman. And Buddy Boshiers came out, had a clean inning, gave up a hit, and that was it for him. And that wraps it up for that ball game for the Blue Jays. All right, so game 2 of the 3-game set against the Houston Astros goes tomorrow afternoon, 3:07 first pitch at Rogers Center. Is it Framber? I think it's Framber. Framber Valdez, what a name, against Clay Buchholz. That's a pitching matchup there in the ball game there tomorrow afternoon, game 2 of the 3-game series against the Astros. All right, and let's go down to the minor leagues here, and Nate Pearson was on the mound for the Buffalo Bisons and picks up his first win as a Bison, but wasn't very good. Nate Pearson wasn't what we've seen in the first 2 games of his AAA career. Went 5 innings, gave up 7 hits, 4 runs, all 4 were earned, walked 3, and struck out 5, and gave up a home run. So he wasn't that great in this one. But again, it happens, and no one's going to be great every single night. It's just, it all matters about what you do the next time out. So now you've seen Nate Pearson do great in his first 2 games. Now you've seen him struggle in one. What's he going to do in his next outing? That is the key, and that is where we're going to see what type of pitcher Nate Pearson is. If he goes out there and has another rough start, you can kind of see where this is going, But again, I don't think it's going to happen next time out. I think Nate Pearson's going to die. If there is another start, actually, now that I think about it. So I don't know if that was his last start of the year or not. Nonetheless, though, if it is, one heck of a season for Nate Pearson. Went from Dunedin to New Hampshire, ended the year in Buffalo, had 2 pretty good starts, and in the third, not so much. But it was good to see nonetheless. And as for the offense, Anthony Alford, yes, he went 0 for 3, but he walked twice and scored 3 runs. So it was a great day at the plate for him, kind of. Richard Urania went 2 for 3 with 2 walks, had 5 RBIs and a run scored. He's hitting .274. I mean, Richard Urania has had a really good. He's the number 3 hitter in Buffalo. Crazy. He's doing great things down there, though. I'm very impressed with him. Forrest Wall went 1 for 5 in the ball game with a run scored, and Santiago Espinal, having a great start to his AAA career, went 2 for 3 with 2 walks and a run scored. He's hitting .312. Now, it's in very, very few games, obviously. I'm gonna try and pull him up here and see what it's like. Excuse me. Where is he? He played 25 games. Almost 100 at bats. But again, it's not a lot. But to see him hitting .312 and continuing to play well, it's great to see for Santiago Espinal and Blue Jay fans. All right, and Zach Jackson was in the ball game for the pitching staff out of the bullpen. Went 2 innings, 1 hit, struck out 2 guys. Good job by Zach Jackson in his two innings. Jackson McClellan, though, wasn't very good. So we're not going to talk about that. All right, down in AA New Hampshire, the Fisher Cats lost 5-4 to the Portland Sea Dogs, and there was a lot of 1-1s. A lot of 1-1s in the ball game for the New Hampshire Fisher Cats. If my thing will load because it just froze on me. There it is. Palacios 1 for 4 with an RBI and a run scored. Riley Adams 1 for 4 had 2 RBIs and a run scored. He's hitting .261. Is Riley Adams. Chad Spanberger 1 for 4 with a run scored and an RBI. Good to see for him. And Logan Wormuth 1 for 3 in the ball game. And pitching wise, not a whole lot of positives to take from. I like the looks of Zach Lowe, but he wasn't very good in the ball game today. 3 innings, 4 hits, 2 runs, 1 walk, and struck out 3. His ERA is 4.10. All right, and the Dunedin Blue Jays, technically their season wasn't supposed to be done. However, with the pending hurricane that's going on down there, it seems like that's the end of the season for them, and nonetheless, what a season it was, and what an end of the season for Simeon Woods Richardson. Yes, the game wasn't tonight for Dunedin, but yesterday, Simeon Woods Richardson, remember the 18-year-old, maybe 19 now, but I'm going to go with 18. The 18-year-old kid, Simeon Woods Richardson, the guy that we acquired in the Marcus Stroman deal, went 5 shutout innings. This guy is incredible. He has an ERA under 2.5. Remember, 18 in Advanced A. He should be in Vancouver. I mean, Eric Perdino is the up-and-coming stud we keep hearing about. He's 18, but he's in Lansing. And Woods Richardson's in Dunedin and tearing it up. It's awesome to see. I can't wait to see what Simeon Woods Richardson can bring for us next season, whether he's going to be in AA. My personal opinion, he's going to start the year in Dunedin and kind of do like a 10-15 game starts, 10-15 starts. If he does great, boop, up to AA he goes, and see where it goes from there. I don't know. That's my thought on him, but what a season he put together. And a lot of great pitching seasons for the Blue Jays down in the minor leagues, I do have to say. Down in Lansing, Troy Watson was on the mound for the Lansing Lugnuts, and he was actually very good in the ball game today. 5 innings, 3 hits, 1 run, walked 2, and struck out 5. ERA dropped to 3.14. That's very respectable. I gotta say, he's a 1997 born, so if I'm not mistaken, he's like 22, depending on his birthday, 21, 22 years old. So, I mean, again, a guy that I see being in Dunedin next season and kind of, again, seeing where it goes from there. But, you know, if that was his last start of the season, one heck of a season for Troy Watson there in his first year in Lansing. 5 innings, 3 hits, 1 earned run, 2 walks, and 5 Ks was his last outing of the season. And offensively, what a day it was for Otto Lopez. This guy continues to show me he is unreal. He gets on base at will. 3 for 3 with a run scored and walked twice. The guy has a .323 batting average. I don't know where this guy came from, but he is continuing to impress me. 1998 birthday. Actually, he's still 20 years of age. He turns, October 1st, I think it is, that he turns, and he turns 21. He'll be in Dunedin next year. I think there's no doubt about that. But I'm trying to find this season and trying to find his on base percentage. His batting average is .323. His on base percentage is .371. So it's not a crazy big on base percentage, but what a year for Otto Lopez. I know his season's not done as of yet. Yerman Rodriguez went 1 for 5 in the ball game today. .333 average there for him. Griffin Konai went 1 for 3 in the game with a walk and a run scored. He's hitting .278. And Gabriel Moreno 1 for 4 with 2 RBIs and a walk. He's hitting .285. Good to see for the young guys down there, all getting hits in the game today. And down in Vancouver, they played an afternoon game, 1 o'clock Vancouver time, 4 o'clock Toronto time. And a guy to really keep an eye on here, Will Robertson. If I'm not mistaken, no, where was Will? He was drafted this year by the Blue Jays. I want to say he was the 4th round pick, but I think it was Will Crichton was the 4th round pick. So let me know, guys, where Will Robertson was. Was it Will Robertson? Will Robertson? If it'll load for me, that'd be awesome. Yeah, Will Robertson. If you guys can let me know what about this guy, please let me know in the comments below, guys. But he went 3 for 5 with 4 RBIs and a run scored today. He's hitting .265. He went 4 for 5 yesterday. So he's having a great time down there. Is Will Robertson? Tanner Morris, the second baseman, went 1 for 3 with 2 walks and a run scored. He's hitting .249. Horowitz, who got brought up from. Where was he brought up from? Bluefield, went 2 for 4 with 2 runs scored in that one today, so it's good to see for him, and not much else going on there. Bluefield's season is done, and that's going to wrap it up, guys, all right? So you know what? That is going to do it for this one, guys. If you guys enjoyed the video and you guys enjoyed talking about the minor leaguers today, because that's really the positives we get out of these videos, smack the like button to appreciate that. And the subscribe button if you guys have not already. Comment down below your thoughts on the video, your thoughts on the game, guys, and also a little thing I want to say here for I think his last name was Blevins. I think it was the Blake Blevins. I think it was his name was the AA pitcher. I mean, you guys know who I'm talking about. If you've already seen the whole thing about his brother-in-law. You know what? If you guys haven't seen it, just search it up. And it's tragic. I can't even imagine what the guy's going through. He's definitely going away from baseball for a bit, and I don't blame him. I don't know. It's been on my mind for a few days now, and I'm assuming you guys have heard of it, and I'm assuming you guys have thought about it as well. So I just want to give you guys a little bit about that here at the end of the video. All right, so guys, check out my main man Mo Buckets on Twitter, Blue Jays Wave on Instagram. Mo. His buddy Rob and myself were on the podcast there yesterday, and it was uploaded to their Instagram page. Once again, Blue Jays Wave on Instagram. The link is in their bio on the Instagram page. Go check it out, guys. Blue Jays Wave. If you want to hear about the Blue Jays and hear about all the Blue Jays stuff that we talked about on the podcast, go do so. All right, Twitter is down below. Follow up, send me a DM, do all that great stuff, and I will talk to you guys Blue Jays edition in Game 2 of the 3-game set against the Houston Astros there tomorrow afternoon, 3:07 first pitch at Rogers Center. Framber Valdez versus Clay Buchholz. And how's Buchholz going to do in his second consecutive start? He was really good in his first one. How's he going to look tomorrow against the really good Houston Astros? Thank you so much for listening and watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Talk to you guys then.